Hi guys and welcome to another episode of Turning Point. So gaya ng sinasabi ko lagi, this is a series kung saan nagpapakita kami ng mga popular esports personalities and other personalities in the internet. Pero for this specific weekend, medyo nakafocus muna tayo sa mga back-end people here in Blacklist International. At ang kasama natin today, si Miss Rosel, our
International Esports Communications Manager for Blacklist International.
Yun. So, hello ka muna Rosel and yun nga, share with us your background or any intro about you.
Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Rosel, aka Cell Rose. I think that's how people know me kasi that's my IGN. I've been working in Tier 1/Blacklist for more than 2 years now. I started in 2019. And then, how did I get into the esports scene? Back in 2013, I don't know if you remember yung Esports Festival, right? Sa Cebu. And then, prior to that year, I actually competed in Dora with some friends. And then parang yung feeling ko, ang pangit kasi everyone was like looking at us kasi parang, hala may babae naglalaro. So parang I decided, you know what, I'm not gonna try and compete. Hindi naman ako ganyan kamagaling. Pero when I heard na Esports Festival was coming back the next year, I told myself na mag-volunteer kaya ako because I'm very into esports. Like I like the thrill and then the game titles during that time, of course, Hearthstone. Yun yung parang isang main game na I kept playing. So ayun, I volunteered and then I met everyone. So si Boss Tryke, Sir Brian, and that's how I guess James Paubago got into the esports scene. And fast forward a few years later, may ganito na gig na we're building an esports org for Tier 1. Would you like to join us? And I'm like, sige, like why not? Kaya ayun, I'm here.
Oh. Okay, so obviously the transition has been challenging for you, definitely. Pero can we take a step back and go to what were you doing prior to Tier 1?
I actually graduated as a computer science. In computer science, or how do you say that? Computer science yung degree ko.
In Cebu ba? Tama?
Yeah, in University of the Philippines, Cebu. And then before that, I used to work as a technical customer service rep for a crypto exchange. So I did mga technical stuff, like medyo familiar ako sa crypto scene. Like that was back in 2016, 2017. And then ayun, parang this opportunity came up and yung idea ko, or like yung thoughts ko is, well, I can always go back to programming if I wanted. Pero yung esports kasi, I felt like it was rising and then parang ang dami talagang magagaling na players in the Philippines but there's no support or scene dito. Like it was just, I guess, yung kayo lang, like kayo lang talaga yung people there. So I thought it's best to establish it. So, ayun, like I took a risk. I told my parents na I'm going to Manila, I'm going to do esports, and then this is not me asking for permission. This is me like sharing.
Informing you.
Yeah, like gumawa talaga ako ng slides. Like I showed them a slide, like ito yung esports, ito yung mga nagawa ko. I'm very into computer games, so I think I'll fit. And they're like, we can't stop you. So ayun, I'm here now.
Why is it important for you to really share the vision for esports and everything that you're going to your parents?
Kasi it's not their fault na they think gaming is parang disruptive siya sa school. Kasi in the first place, guilty din ako niyan na it took me 7 years to finish college.
Okay.
So 2 years niyan dahil nag-shift ako twice. Pero like 1 year, like I failed kasi literal na nagdodota lang talaga ako like every night and I missed my deadlines. Hindi ako nag-attend ng class kasi nga, you know, like computer gaming is fun. And umabot sa point na my parents kept telling me na, stop playing computer games. Like, why can't you just focus on your studies, ganyan. And parang nakikita ko kasi na it's not just something na like gaming lang, hindi lang gaming yung path to esports. Like we actually need the management side, we need professionals. Like right now I'm working on a project na I don't think we can say yet. And hindi naman siya meaning na player lang, kailangan ka player para makapasok sa esports. We actually need admin people, finance people, operations. So I said if we can make it like professional level at ma-understand yun ng parents ko, they can see na it's actually like an industry that's respectable, you know, like they might not think that it's as important as ano ba, like yung sa mga
programming.
Yeah, programming or like yung mga hospital, you know, kasi yun talaga alam mo kailangan yun sa mga tao. Pero I feel like you know, like entertainment, gaming, it helps people like cope, like as an escape. And para siyang yung sports lang, the same way na people enjoy watching the NBA. Like people enjoy watching games kasi nga it's fun, it's competitive, it's not something easy. So, ayun, buti naman na-understand na ng parents ko, pero it took quite a while.
How many slides?
I think mga 13 slides din yun.
13 slides?
Yeah, 13 slides yun.
Okay.
Pero when we won M3, and then parang nakita na nila yung mainstream na media, and they were sharing it, parang sila na nag-share sa GC namin na, oh my God, Sel, is this your team, di ba, Blacklist International? And then, suddenly, kasi my mom's a doctor, sa mga people sa hospital, parang sabihin nila, Doc, di ba yung anak mo sa Blacklist? Nakita namin sila sa blah, blah, blah. And then parang na-realize ng parents ko na, hala, actually, mainstream pala to, no? Like, yung ginagawa nyo pala, may impact kasi dinala natin yung banner ng Philippines, ganun. And then, na-provide talaga ng support ng players, like, hindi sila pinabayaan. So, ayun, like, it's good na they understand na my passion kasi masabi ko talaga passion ko tong esports. And then, ayun, parang they just let me be. They understand na I work long hours. Sometimes I can't go home kasi nga may tournaments, ganun. Pero yung hindi nila ma-understand talaga is they keep assuming na ako yung player. I don't understand why. I keep telling them, hindi ako naglalaro. I'm not good at any of those games. So parang, yun lang. Yeah.
Siguro they couldn't, I mean, they're not there yet in terms of understanding what are the compartments to the ecosystem of esports yet, right? But I think the fact that they're getting there in terms of yung doctor na mom mo is actually hearing anecdotes and stories about Blacklist, that's a start, right? Yeah. Like, before, there was no chance na all of these things are heard in a hospital. Yeah. And yet today, like, we're seeing and hearing stories like this na it's happening na pala, di ba? Yun yung pinakamalupit dun. So, now, I think jumping from one industry na established into another industry that's not as established is one thing. But the bigger thing for me is moving from Cebu to Manila. How was that for you?
Ano talaga siya? It was a risk kasi alam ko talaga sa sarili ko, if I leave, like if I flew out to Manila, ang dami kong iwan. Like at that time, I was in a long-term relationship. Like malayo na ako sa family ko. Like I barely had friends here. So para talaga siyang like going to a different city and like starting all over again, starting from zero. Pero
how long were you working before you got into Tier 1?
Mga 3 years?
3
4
years.
years. Yeah, I was
so
working while I was in
years,
college.
Technically, the friends and everything you left.
Yeah, like I miss a lot of people sa Cebu and they kept saying na, Sil, wag ka umalis. But I'm like, guys, I need to do this for myself. So parang, buti naman, my parents, my then boyfriend, my friend supported me. Pero it's scary na, you know, like flying in here, especially since, you know, palagi sinasabi ng parents ko, babae ka and you're gonna live alone. Like, are you sure? So I kept telling them, no, okay lagi, like, it's fine. Like, you have to believe in me and trust na if something goes wrong, I will tell you and then I will go home if I feel like I'm not safe anymore, I'm not happy. So ayun, parang you just gotta take a risk or like leap into something. Kasi parang yung feeling ko din, I was too comfortable sa Cebu, parang, and it's too small. Like now that I'm here in Manila, na-realize ko talaga ano ka boxed in ako there. So, ayun, yeah.
I'm very curious, no? So, from Cebu going to Manila, you took the leap of faith. I get that. Pero what I don't get is what pushed you to do it. Kasi you mentioned you had a boyfriend, you were comfortable. Like, not a lot of people, despite their passion, despite an opportunity, jumps to something that we have right now, di ba? And what was offered to you back then. So, what made you jump?
Wala, I just believed in the vision na, you know what, lalaki yung esports ng Pinas and I want to be there to help establish it. Like, parang, it sounds parang self-centered siguro, pero yung feeling ko kasi, alam ko talaga na may ma-contribute ako. So, I said na, wala. Like, nakita ko yung vision, nakita ko yung future nito, like, it's possible. So, I'm gonna risk it. Even though at that time, I didn't know it yet. Parang I think in the past year pa lang ako nakarealize na, oh shit, this is it. Like, rare ka lang makita na, like as you said sa planning, di ba, na a country like the Philippines would spearhead, like, in Southeast Asia, something as big as esports. So parang, it got me excited, and at that time, I didn't understand it yet. So parang ngayon, mas na-visualize ko na, oh my God, ito na talaga, guys.
Now, so let's talk about that, right? Like, handling esports teams the whole of 2021, winning it all, literally winning it all. Like, from the first championship, the second championship, into the World Championship, our COD M team won a World Championship, MCP Malaysia, Cambodia, Philippine Championship, nakuha ng Free Fire team namin in Malaysia. So, what can you say about that? Like, how was that journey for you?
Well, first of all, it wasn't easy. Like, mahirap talaga siya because I think, yung first year kasi ni Blacklist, we weren't really winning anything. So parang, yung bigat ng trabaho mo, although...
Times 10.
Yeah, parang, totoo talaga, winning solves a lot of things, you know. So parang, at that time, hindi tayo nananalo, so it felt kind of bad. Pero nga, it's the nature of competition. And I kept thinking, ano kaya pwede namin magawa para ma-improve yung performance ng team? And then come 2021, nandito na si Rada, and then Ikoy was here. So parang, slowly and surely, may mga stones na ni Thanos. I don't know how you describe it, pero parang naging complete na kami na team na umabot sa point na kahit iilan lang kami managing multiple teams, na kaya namin. And then parang, wait, hold up. If it's possible pala na manalo ng team ng ganito, maybe we should just, you know, like sort out yung, how do you say it, yung processes namin, yung behavior, ganun. So parang since we had multiple people coming in as a department, we had parang the league was coming up, I think yung franchise league na sa MPL. It felt at first parang nakakatakot kasi alam mo yung, oh shit, everyone is nakatutok na, nag-pour in na yung resources, blah, blah, blah. So parang mas may heavier na yung responsibility, andun na yung pressure. And then thankfully, nanalo yung team, pero bumigay talaga yung katawan ko, I feel like. After M3, nung nagkasakit ako, parang, I think it was just my mental health saying na, hindi ka pwede magkasakit sa Singapore, you all need to win the championship, you all need to go through lower bracket, and you need to go home safely. And then once everything was done, ayun na, nagkasakit na ako. So, parang sabi ng doctor na, it could be the stress also manifesting sa katawan ko. So, a year of stress, na ER ako, pero okay lang, saglit lang yun, like a few hours.
Yeah, I remember messaging you about that, no? Kasi nagulat talaga ako. And I think it's this, right? Like, I've always said this to the people in the company, especially when you want to be truly top tier and you want to dominate as much as we do. Na with turbulence really comes pressure, and with speed comes, with height comes, ano nga ba yun? With height comes pressure, with speed comes turbulence. I always say that, diba? And I think with the height and the speed that we were at for the whole of 2021, that took a toll on you, for sure.
Yeah. Pero na-realize ko din after that, like, I would do it again, like, in a heartbeat. Yung pressure, yung stress, like, nasabi ko talaga sa sarili ko, oh my God, love ko talaga yung esports. Kasi going through everything that year, and then me being happy na andito pa rin ako, excited ako for the next few months kasi nga ang daming tournaments. Ayun, like, I'm just happy to be here, honestly.
Sa bagay, iba kasi like, I mean, yun nga, like what I said before in the planning, diba? Like, not a lot of people in the Philippines have the opportunity to actually advance a certain industry in Southeast Asia because most of the time we're really behind. But this is one of the few industries where we're actually advanced. And people don't talk about it a lot, maybe because there are certain companies in the Philippines who aren't as advanced as us, but there are actually companies who are advanced as well. So, yun nga, I feel like as one of the kumbaga, leaders of the industry, there is a certain responsibility for us to be able to actually open new doors that some other companies haven't really opened yet. So, for you, you've been managing international teams, which not a lot of Philippine teams have done yet, diba? You were managing our Free Fire team in Malaysia. Kamusta yun, the first interaction with a Malaysian team?
Oh my God, medyo mahirap talaga kasi I can say naman na I can communicate with people, like I don't have a problem with that. Para sa akin nga, mahirap yung Tagalog yung mga tao dito and I had to brush up on
English, right?
English or Bisaya, yeah. So parang, sa isip-isip ko, you know what, I've been through this. I had to deal with relearning my Tagalog and all that. Pero sa Malaysia, hindi para marunong yung team mag-English.
Oh no!
Like, parang may language barrier talaga. So, what we did is, sa coach, through the coach lahat yung comms. So, if I needed anything, and then, parang palagi yung sinasabi ni Rada na you have to study the culture din because you have to be mindful na what might be comfortable for us might be offensive to them. Yeah. So, parang, yeah, like, you have to actually study and get to know people. And thankfully, my parents are very supportive sa mga hobbies ko and medyo open-minded sila. So, I got to travel to, like, Malaysia for ESL 1 doon, and then I got to tour around the country. So, medyo may idea din ako na, ganito pala, and I have some friends from Malaysia. So, of course, it was quite difficult to adjust to that. Pero thankfully, sa isip-isip ko, nothing cannot be fixed if hindi pag-usapan. Tama ba?
Tama.
So, parang, nadaan lang talaga sa usapan, and then, parang I told Garina din na, hopefully, ma-extend yung patience nyo kasi may language barrier between the team and us, and we're still looking for a local team manager to help out.
Now you have that now, no?
Yeah, si Ping. So, shout out sa'yo, Ping. MVP ka, one-man team. We'll see you later.
So, now we're moving on into 2 more countries, Japan and Vietnam. And like what I said, I've always dreamt of Blacklist having one team in each of those countries. What did you learn managing a Malaysian team that you think you can apply as you go into those 2 other countries?
First of all, I think may common language talaga na basta gaming, as long as andyan yung passion, it should be easier to replicate in a way. And at the same time, if you just genuinely care about the players and genuinely care about them winning, or like you want to support them na paano sila manalo, ma-replicate lang talaga siya. Kasi yun yung nakikita ko, I believe, na meron kayo or kami din sa back end na, you know, it's not easy working long hours na. Sometimes we extend until the break of dawn. Walang weekends because tournaments are typically done during the weekends. We just genuinely care about the team and want to support them. So nag-translate siya sa work ethic namin and how we manage them.
Do you think partly the reason why is because we were gamers ourselves and we understand the hardships?
I think so, yeah. I think so kasi parang most mga pioneers sa example sa tier 1 or like sa streaming, sa gaming, they've been through that. So alam nila ano yung mga kailangan, ano yung mga needs, and what kind of support they need para mag-excel sila. Pero it doesn't also mean na you need to be a gamer to understand and to support. Like, as long as you care about what you do, siguro, then mag-translate yan sa work. Like, I believe that, yeah.
If there's one thing that you're really, really proud of, being part of Blacklist International last year, among all the wins, what was your win? On a personal level, what was your win? Na parang masasabi mo, if this were the championships, my championship was what?
I think just surviving the whole year. Kasi at some point, you know, 2020 was hard and parang...
It was hard.
Yeah, it was, right? So parang, yeah, hindi kami nananalo, nagka-pandemic. So I actually considered na mag-quit. Like parang, bibigay na talaga ako kasi sa isip-isip ko, oh my God, worth it pa ba yung pain? Like, worth it pa ba yung suffering? It sounds melodramatic right now, pero at that time, that's how I felt. So parang, sinabihan ko sarili ko and then some friends na, hindi, you know what? I'm gonna give it one more chance. Like, I'll give it one more chance, and then if it doesn't work out, then I'll just leave. So parang, yun yung win ko na parang, oh my God, worth it lahat ng sacrifices sa past 2 years kasi nakita ko na yung fruit of my labor. Yan kasi yung mahirap sa esports eh. And I shared this with Rada nung nag-debrief na kami after M3 na I feel some sort of imposter syndrome. Kasi, compared sa previous na ginawa ko like sa mga programming, alam mo talaga successful yung project because an app works. It, you know, yung mga quality check, it passes them. So, alam mo talaga yung basis if successful yung ginawa mo or not. Sa esports kasi, parang nanalo yung team, yes. Pero did
Ano
I
yung
have
part mo
something
dun?
to do with it? Yeah, like parang walang KPIs, walang metrics. Parang sinabi ko talaga, nanalo yung team kasi magaling sila. Like, I don't have the right to say na nanalo yung team dahil sa akin. Like, I did that for them. Parang, oh my God, grabe yung imposter syndrome ko. Like, na-trigger siya talaga last month. Pero I kept saying na, you know what? It's okay. You did something, so naka-contribute ka kaya nanalo yung team. So I think that for me is a win na I stuck with it and then nanalo.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that you want to improve this year, no? Like, obviously, when you're a startup company and you're doing multiple things at the same time, because you need to and because that pushes innovation to happen, at times you tend to lose the obvious, which is KPIs, OKRs, you know, HR systems that need to be there. We've been trying to apply that to the other departments in the company. But the question is, how do you apply OKRs and KPIs in esports? Like, not a lot of companies have figured that out. I mean, these are, kumbaga, seasoned and, kumbaga, historical mechanism that were here for companies. Pero when you want to apply that in esports, how? And the question is how? And I think with someone like Rada leading your team, who is actually our former HR, and he can't figure that out yet, that goes to show talaga na mahirap eh. To measure, the true measure of a back-end person in esports. But I think we're getting towards that right now, di ba? I believe what our HR did, thank you to Fab, by the way, shout out to Fab, is actually coming up with a gamification system that will be applied to Blacklist as a form of a KPI and measure to incentivize everyone in the company so that at least you feel what's your individual contribution to the general goal, which is very important because I always say this, in any job, any work, any business, there's two things that are really important. One is compensation, the other one is fulfillment. Yes. Compensation is always going to be there, but that's not gonna make you sleep at night. What's going to make you sleep at night is the second one, which is fulfillment. That's why sobrang daming tao, ang lalaki ng sweldo, pero they're not happy. They want to transfer to, you know, places that are they're really passionate about, but unfortunately, hindi nila kayang bayaran yung bills nila if they do. And that's why for Tier 1, what we're trying to do is to be able to at least compensate enough so that they can be in a place that they're fulfilled. So now, moving on into that, now that we're trying to improve yung ganung point, no? Surviving everything, that's all good and well. Pero ikaw, for Blacklist naman, what was the biggest win for Blacklist in your opinion? Obviously, it's M3, pero is it M3?
Is it M3? Biggest win ni Blacklist?
In 2021?
2021.
For you?
Yung community, I think. Yeah. Kasi parang, you know, gamers, they say toxic and everything. But like for me, win talaga na we have good fans.
Yeah.
Kasi parang, as big as Blacklist na, you know, we have a big fan base. And if majority of the fan of that community is kind, I think ma-change mo kasi yung ano, yung tides, perception. So parang, I'm not against trash talk, like okay lang naman. Pero may iba talaga yung below the belt eh. Tapos parang, come on, don't be sexist, don't be racist. Like, 2021 or 2022, you know, like, there's no room for jokes like that anymore. So, thankfully, yung agents are also there to, you know, spread that kind of kindness, I guess, and patience. And although, minsan, ang hirap talaga kasi kahit ako makikita ko yung sa Twitter and sa Facebook, tapos parang, ay, gusto ko talagang replyan to, pero wag na lang, like, I'm not gonna give them the time of day. Pero at least yung fan base ng team, like yung community, they're good people. And I'm glad na, kasi nalaman ko actually na yung fan base pala sa age, mga teens, mostly teens. So I'm glad na parang yung role model nila is si Blacklist, which is, I see, perceives like that kind of accepting na role model.
And I think like how I see it in anything that has like contrast, right? Like whether it's toxicity versus yung kindness and whatnot. Parang ako, the way I see it is it's like light and darkness in a way. Hindi in a way na ito yung light yung positive, dark yung negative. It's in a way na depende. Ano, kakainin ka ba ng darkness or kakainin ka ng light? I mean, that's how I see it. And where I'm coming from with this is that ML, when we came into the space, was really toxic. Talaga. Sobra. Grabe talaga yung toxicity ng ML space. Not the community, but the space. there were a lot of influential people in the space who were actually, in a way, reflective of that environment too. And eventually what people realized after Blacklist, and I think I gotta give credit to Oh My Venus and Wise for this, is they were the difference eh. Among a lot of other, kumbaga, yung content creation and the way they were in interviews and all that, it was different. Hindi sila parang mayabang, hindi sila nanggagaling from a point of attack in a way. And I think, yun dun siya eh. That's how I see it. Na parang, of course, you can ideally say that the only way for the world to change is yourself. But if you are no one, if wala ka, hindi ka sikat na tao or wala kang impact sa society, then you can't truly change the existing things that are happening around you. And I think the beauty of what Blacklist built in terms of the following and the agents is yung mismong players are actually really, really good people. So, in a way, that started as the light na in a way that kind of like are finally balancing out. Kasi hindi natin pwedeng sabihin na biglang mawawala yung toxicity magically. Kasi we went in with that. So, hindi pwedeng pagpasok mo, wipe out lahat yun. I mean, impossible yun. That's not gonna happen overnight. The only way for it to happen is we try to find a way to be influential enough through winning, through marketing, or through whatever not, and hopefully we get to influence the right people. And then, for those naman na hindi ma-influence and who just want to feel like ganun talaga sila, then we respect them also. Diba? Kasi, at the end of the day, if we respect each other's perspective, if we respect each other's ways, to me naman, like hindi naman yan black and white, positive, negative, hindi naman yan masama at mabuti. Ano lang siya eh, it's just variation and diversity in people. Yun lang din yun eh, di ba? Kasi marami namang nagmumura pero mabait naman.
Yeah,
diba?
kasi, it's a highly stressful situation like gaming, di ba? So, to express your frustration, magmura ka lang. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Minsan may ganun din talaga. And I think sometimes we all get stuck in the pitfall of basta may ginawang mali in one incident, tinitingnan natin as mali tong tao na to without really figuring out what's the context, ano nangyari prior, ano nangyari after, ano yung background ng tao na to, ano yung background ng buong sitwasyon. And audit is, for me, one of the most powerful tool in the world. Na sometimes kasi pag nandyan na yung nangyari, we fail to audit what happened, di ba? Pero once we start auditing, that's when we realize na, kaya pala. So, hopefully the world becomes more welcoming of that. But yun nga, I'm very, very much proud of our agents too for being that light in a way, or the difference in this community na they really stick to what we believe in. Pero to a point naman na hopefully you allow people to make mistakes. Yun, actually sinabi to ni, hindi ko na sabihin ko sino, one of the social media person ni isang beses. When one of the things na nangyari before, na may kinagalit yung mga agent sa isang tao, parang dumating sa isip niya na, ano bang gusto niyo gawin? Patayin namin tong tao na to. Pero let's not get into that. Na parang, ang point ko lang is, siguro parang, we need to also learn to forgive. Diba? Kasi, sa totoo lang, when you are angry at someone, kumbaga para ka naka-clench na fist, ikaw yung mas pagod, ikaw yung mas pressured, ikaw yung mas lugi. And I think we need to be able to just let go. Like, if they made a mistake, it's for them to really learn from it, and they'll suffer from it pag hindi sila natuto isang beses eh. Kasi the second time that they do it, there will be consequences, and the third time, and the fourth time, and the fifth time. So to me, like, let's also be forgiving. We can hold ourselves accountable for what's happening within our lives, pero we can't hold someone else accountable kasi hindi naman tayo judge of the world. We can't play God.
Cancel culture talaga is so dangerous sometimes. Parang, guys, tao din, magkamali. So, just forgive them. Especially if young pa yung tao. So, parang, you know what? They've apologized, they've taken accountability, like, give them a chance. You know?
Yeah.
We're all humans here, trying to get by.
Let's just have a more, in a way, healthy environment. Especially when we're talking about discourse, no? Yun rin minsan sa esports, yung walang proper discourse pagka hindi nagmamatch yung, okay, mas magaling to, wala, bakbakan talaga.
Wala, like either one talaga, like hindi ba pwede like in between guys, like kalmahan nyo. My God.
Well, I guess it's the nature of Twitter, it's the nature of Facebook, it's the nature of social media, I guess. So now, it's been 2 years. The first year was a mess. The second year was hard but rewarding. your parents at the point didn't want you to come here. You presented some slides, it worked. And now you're here in 2022, still working with us. So when you came back at nakita ka nilang na ER, nakita nila lahat, and of course, you for sure had a talk. How did that talk go?
Parang, funnily enough, they were like, oh, so kumusta? Ba't ka na ER? So I told them, kasi sabay-sabay lahat, you know, na lower bracket kami ma. Like, I had to explain it to them what that meant. And thankfully, yung papa ko watches NBA. So sabi ko, alam mo pa yung sa playoffs, blah, blah, blah. Basta parang nilakbay pa namin yung lower bracket, hindi kami umangat, hindi kami sa upper bracket agad. So nag-gets naman nila. And then I told them, dahil din kasi sa Odette. So, nung time na yun, I think it was the day before maglaban against EVOS and BTK, nagka-Odette sa hometown namin or like dito sa Pinas, and then I couldn't contact them. I couldn't contact anyone, any of my friends. So parang sa isip-isip ko, oh my God, paano to? Like, hindi ako makatulog. And then early kami the next day for games. So parang na-stressed out of my mind na ako at that time.
Kasi hindi mo na alam, nag-overthink ka na yun.
Oh, so I told them na, I think bumigay lang yung katawan ko dahil sa worry. Hindi siya technically because of the high stressful situation sa esports, which is a lie kasi highly stressful talaga. Especially when you're there, tas ramdam mo yung, hindi naman ka ba, pero ramdam mo yung aura ng team na they're very concentrate na masyado, hindi na sila magpa-disturbo, blah, blah, blah. No, parang sinabihan ko sila na okay lang talaga ako, like, I'm fine. It's not something that you should be worried about. Tas nakita nyo naman yung result, nanalo yung team. So more on excited sila for like the next year. Parang nagtatanong sila, oh my God, so pupunta ka ng Vietnam? And I told them, I'm not sure, pero yung team namin yung Philippine representative for SEA Games. I think you are flying. Yeah, actually, for a game title. Pero ayun, parang excited sila actually when I came home and then I told them what happened. They're supportive and then parang gusto nga nila manood ng some tournaments and I told them, sige, if like may tournaments na may audience na allowed, ilipad ko kayo. Like, walang problema. I'll fly you out. And then right now, parang nangumusta na sila. Kumusta yung week 1 nyo? And I told them, natalo kami, pero okay lang, regular season pa to, babawi din kami in the future. Sabi nila, yeah, mananalo kayo, okay lang yan. Tapos may mga jerseys na sila sa akin, like I gave away my jersey sa kanila. So yun, medyo fans na din yung relatives ko, which is funny kasi at that time, fans sila ng ML, pero kay Bren. And then I told them na blacklist ako nung season 5 or something. Sabi nila, wala yan, di kayo mananalo. Sabi ko, basta tingnan nyo lang, mananalo din kami. Basta wag kayong maging bandwagon ha. Tapos ngayon, parang palagi na sila sabi, isa-shoutout mo kami, bahala kayo dyan. Hindi ko kayo shoutout, joke lang. Pero ayun, like everyone's supportive and excited for the future of Blacklist naman.
So, if I ask you this question, no, I'm sure you're proud about a lot of things in Blacklist in terms of achievements and everything. Pero in both your personal career and in Blacklist, what are you proud about?
Proud ako na I'm in a space and an org that accepts me. Kasi parang, I don't wanna be that kind of, like, mga aggressive na feminist. Pero yung gaming space kasi is male-dominated. Yung programming space was also heavily male-dominated. So parang, comfortable na ako doon because I was accepted by my peers, by my friends, ganun. And then, I didn't know na coming in here, I would feel that's safe. So parang I'm also proud to be part of an org and a company that doesn't really look at you gender-wise. Parang nakikita lang sila sa'yo like, yeah, you work good. You're a good teammate, you're a good workmate. So parang regardless of your gender, they take me seriously. Like I have a voice here. So ayun, proud ako na, yeah, I'm in Tier 1, yeah, I'm in Blacklist, and everyone here is woke. So ayun. Like seriously, like woke talaga yung mga tao. So I'm proud of that because I don't have to have that at the back of my mind, you know, like I don't have to worry about that. So
I think one of the reasons why ganon is first, one of the co-founders of the company is a woman. That's for one, and I think we have a lot of feminists in the company that have really pushed for their ideologies for us to understand that equality matters. And another part is we have an LGBTQ captain. Obviously, that's another one, di ba? And then I think third of all, more than 50% of our leadership are women. Oh. Yeah. You have Ma'am Joanne, Teen, Sarah, A lot of leadership ng Tier 1 are actually women. Very few nga yung men eh. Actually, it's me, Brian, Vern, Jabba, konti lang. Mas marami talaga babae. When we go into a mancom or an execom, like, we're usually like outnumbered by women. And I think it's a really healthy environment. I've never seen it that way because to me, I want to be progressive in a sense that, you know, like what you said, we're just working together, regardless of gender. Pero like just coming from a point of feminism and equality and all that, I think I'm very proud nga na we have this environment also in Tier 1. Especially na in esports, wala pa doon. In the Philippines, minsan wala pa doon. So, yun nga. I mean, it's 2021, guys. So, let's just wake up. Siguro yun lang. I think, what's next for you and for Blacklist?
Oh my gosh, a lot. Like, I'm juggling, I think, 3 big projects right now, and I don't know if we can announce it yet, pero makat naman yan ni Topher. So, yung so parang...
Blip mo na lang yung lahat. I-blip mo, pero ipasaya mong sabihin niya, tapos i-blip natin para ma-excite yung mga tao.
So, yung tatlo, tapos may Cebol pa. So, and you know, MPL, say, Free Fire. So, parang medyo marami akong hinawakan right now, pero kaya pa naman kasi excited talaga ako na we're growing and then we're going to be supporting more teams and hopefully maangat sila to get a championship.
Yun. So, sinabi na ni Rosel, ibiblip na lang namin. Pero 3 new game titles for Blacklist in the works. And let's see what happens there. Any shout-outs? Thank you whatsoever ko naman message mo?
Oh my gosh. I'd like to thank y'all for having me. And I don't know, like, mga fans ng Blacklist, thank you for your unending support and your kindness kasi I don't think we'd be here without you. Like, I keep telling this to the fans or like I keep saying this pero di talaga siya bullshit, guys. Like, we wouldn't be here if it weren't for everyone's support. Ayun.
Yun lang, that's it. This is Rosel. Thank you very much for being here and
Thank you for having me.
making your thoughts public kahit hindi ka talaga public person.
Yeah, I was stressed out of my mind.
Pero at least magkakaroon ng idea yung mga tao what's happening behind the scenes, how people behind the scenes think, and I think that's the main objective and the reason why ginawa ko to. Yun lang siguro yung masasabi ko. And siguro, one thing that I just want to say is that maybe in this whole Turning Point series, makikita nyo yung iba't ibang versions ni Tryke. Kasi there are really different versions. Not because plastic ako, not because I'm trying to pretend sa isang tao or whatever. But I think as a CEO, one thing na talagang kailangan mong gawin is to really devalue the methodology. What do I mean by that? Hindi mo kailangan i-overthink kung paano ka magsalita, paano ka makisama, paano lahat yun. Lahat yun kailangan mong ibaba. Kasi ang totoong importante talaga is yung mensahe. So, kahit nag-i-English ka, social ka, kausapin mo yung gamer na gamer, kausapin mo yung kahit anong type ng language pa yung ginagamit mo, hindi yun yung importante. Ang importante is you put your message across in the language that people understand. And I think that's the biggest role na kailangan mo as a CEO because your vision needs to be put across dun sa kausap mo. Whatever language, whatever methodology, whatever way it is. Kasi kung hindi makarating yun sa akin, papunta sa ibang tao, then it's not gonna happen. So, yun. Ako nga personally, hindi ko na alam kung sino talaga ako eh. Pero basta ako, nag-a-adjust ako depending on who I talk to. Kung marinig nyo akong kausap, si Hiromi sa Japan. Hapon yun. Ibang-ibang ako rin yun. Pero, yun nga, like, yun lang. Hopefully, nakikita nyo mga iba't ibang sides ko. Pero, at the end of the day, I'm sharing the same message. Which is, I believe in esports. I believe that there is a future in esports. And that Blacklist will break the code. Peace.